Oh, you salty little heathens. Okay, quick one today, but this is quite exciting if you're a fellow like me who's easily excited. We have a new product, Dorman, which is actually a good American company. It makes good stuff and a very good customer service, at least from my end. I am a brand ambassador for Dorman. Anyway, Dorman has sent me a prototype, or the early production stuff, of this. Can you see it? Of course not. There, I'll just stick it right in there. What is it? Well, let me tell you. It is an aluminum, extra special thermostat housing. Now, this has been out for the rear-wheel drive applications for, I don't know, 6 months or so. The difference being that on a rear-wheel drive, it goes this way as you look at it, and that would make the bleeder screw on the bottom, which wouldn't help you. But anyway, what this is a nice aluminum cast Dorman's logo. Come on, camera. Do what I tell you. There you go. Come on, get in there. Look at that. Made in USA, I believe. Thermostat housing with thermostat. This is generally how you buy them. They come with the thermostat and the gasket on the inside. 2 bolts, 2 10-millimeter bolts. You can actually swap this in the Promaster without having to take anything apart. You can reach in there and get out of it. You'll spill a little coolant. If you're smart, you'll drain a little coolant and then do it. But anyway, you can do this on the fly. You know, it's a good diagnostic tip, too. If you're having an overheating problem, one of the things you can do is take this off with your 10-millimeter socket or wrench and physically remove the entire thermostat and put it back on and see if that solves your cooling problem. And if it does, you got a bad thermostat. Pretty exciting. Anyway, this is the kind of thing that tickles me. Now, we have seen these break. It's pretty rare. They're pretty robust, at least the factory ones, the Chrysler ones. We did have problems with aftermarket ones being bad right out of the box, not related to the housing, but related to the thermostat itself. If I were to push this down, I don't know if you can see, you can push that down and it twists itself out, and you can replace just this. But the cheapest ones of these at local parts stores are like 20 bucks, 21 bucks. This one's a bit more expensive, but I see no reason not to include this in the upgrades that we do when we have an opportunity to do it. I wouldn't run out there tomorrow and replace your thermostat housing if yours isn't broken, but it's just something to know when you go back in. Dorman tells me this will be available for sale, I don't know, it's June of 23 now, so probably in a month or so, and they say it'll probably retail for between 50 and 60 bucks, which compared to the 25 bucks that you would pay for the cheap one is more, but again, yeah, you know. Now, one of the reasons you would do this sort of thing is it would pair with this, which is, again, a very exciting piece. The way this would go on here. This is called the Dick. See if you can figure out why it's called that. It just has that. Okay. This is Dorman's fancy, nice aluminum Dick, and as you would expect on the front of your engine, actually on the front of your engine, you would see it like this on the front of your engine. And anyway, this would go right here, bolt in, nice. Your all aluminum dick and balls assembly, I guess you could call it. This is a beautiful piece, and again, not very much money, 50, 60 bucks. Comes with the gasket in the box for the back. It replaces this, which is your stock plastic piece. Now again, there's a reason Dorman made this, is that a lot of these were leaking. We have not encountered this problem as much on the Promaster. I don't know why. It's no different. Every single Chrysler that has this engine, which is every single Chrysler, all has this exact same part. There's no difference. You can see that this one, I just keep it around as a handy example, it was leaking. Where they leak is along the top. See all this pink? You will look down next to your oil filter, slightly to the left of your oil filter, and if you see a pink line, that's where it's leaking. And people who have very slow leaks, say a quart every 3 months, something like that, very slow, it is often this. But the important thing to know about this is that it often gets misdiagnosed as a water pump, particularly at dealers who love to just separate you from 1,500 bucks or whatever they get for a water pump, which of course it wasn't and doesn't fix the problem. The problem is that this will be leaking along the bottom, dripping down on the water pump and appearing as if the water pump is leaking. Not that it can't happen, and I'm sure other vehicles and other people have other experiences, but I have yet on any Promaster in now 9 years to see a water pump actually go bad ever. Not one, ever go bad. And I have 3 or 4 engines in my hot little hands with 500,000 miles. They just don't go. I mean, so I don't know. But I have seen 3 or 4 misdiagnoses of the water pump. Moving on. That's what there is to know. So you would replace this plastic piece with your hot metal dick and your hot metal dick accessory, thus giving you the entire rig. One thing I should, while we're making this stupid video, is to point out is that the stock one and this one both have a bleeder screw at the top. That appears to be a 12 or a 13. On the stock one, it actually looks like a star because it's just made for a large flat-bladed screwdriver. This is the air bleed at the thermostat, which you can do if you want. I have found that if you bleed it at the firewall, because there's a hand screw on one of the heater hoses coming out of the firewall, you don't even need a tool. If you bleed it there, that's the highest point of the system, so it kind of comes out. But you can bleed it here too if you like. And of course, the system is somewhat, not totally, but somewhat self-bleeding. Because it's a surge tank design as opposed to just a regular reservoir or something like that. Look at this metal. Mooyah! You would be all metal. You would be the envy of all the other kids at the Camp Jellystone with your upgraded dick and balls and thermostat. All right, what have we learned? I don't know, not a hell of a lot. But that's very exciting to me. I want to mention the part number again. 902 3036XD. Available, you know, I don't, Dorman doesn't pay me. They could if they want, I won't say no. But I like this type of thing quite a bit. And Dorman's one of the few companies that can do it. They're big enough to have the buying power to do these little fixes. I am actually talking to them about sourcing the rubber parts of the cooling system in a Promaster separately. As it stands right now, any one of the 4 or 5 small coolant hoses goes bad, and you have to buy the entire metal hose with the rubber hoses attached to it from Chrysler for $170. It would be better if you could just buy the rubber. Well, I'm talking to Dorman. I think they'll do that because they're big enough to just find out who supplies it to Chrysler, buy it from them, give it a part number, sell it to me. So that'll be a good thing in the world. Okay, well, we've had enough fun, so let's bring it in for cuddle time. Cuddle time. Oh, cuddle time. Oh. Oh, I want to wrap my arms around you and rub up against you in an unsavory fashion.